Hello everyone and welcome to the semi-finalist air polls for the Timberwood pack. That is our streaming pack with Puma. Her story aired on Twitch over a lot of the past year here, and it did finally come to an end with her having 6 litters with at least one surviving pup from each, and in some cases we have 2. Or 2 potential heirs, that is to say. We actually have 8 wolves here, so we're going to be breaking them up into 2 polls. The first one will cover the first poll will cover the first 2 litters. The second poll will cover the final 4 litters. The reason that it's broken up weird like that is that the first 2 litters had more than 5 surviving pups, and due to the way YouTube polls work, you can only have up to 5 options in each. So we're going to do 1 poll for the finalist from the first 2 litters and 1 poll for the finalist from the final 4 litters, and then those 2 wolves will run against each other to determine which of the wolves is going to be the proper heir. If that sounds confusing in words, I'm sorry. Hopefully it'll be a little bit more evident in practice. So let's go ahead and jump in. But before we do that, as a reminder, you can view the spreadsheet that has a quick reference of all the wolves, their stats, some info about them, and some notes that we took on them. For some of them, not all of them have very good notes, but whatever notes that we do have, you can view those in the spreadsheet in the video description. So starting off our first poll here, we actually have Lynx. So Lynx is one of the wolves from the first litter. He has the Luna coat, as you can see, with these darker eyes. This is one of the ambassador coats, or not darker eyes. He has these very bright golden eyes against a dark coat is what I was going to try to say before my words got mixed up there. So very, very pretty wolf, very, very striking. I've talked a number of times about how much I love that combination, and he definitely wears it quite proudly. Also, look at the white fur mixed in on the Luna coat. Isn't it just so pretty? Like, I know it showed up constantly for a while when it was first added to the game, but I still really love it. I think it's a great coat, and it's a little bit easier to appreciate now that it's a little bit rarer as well. But you can see his eyes there. We'll also go ahead, we'll listen to his howls here. It looks like he got 7 for both of them. That's a bit of a deep one and pretty long howl too. And then for a secondary, much higher pitched one. Now, he's not going to have any customizations. None of these are, unless they have the radio collar, because they actually predate the customizations being randomly generated. So none of them are going to have those. However, that is something that if you're a member of Patreon, a subscriber on Twitch, or a channel member on the main JayPlays channel, you can submit ideas for that. If you're in the Discord server, we have a channel where you can do that and send in ideas for different wolves if you have an idea for what happened to them between the time that they were pup and the time that they were an adult. As for his stats, he's got +2 strength, -2 health, and the rest is neutral, so a little bit more dramatic in the strength and health department. Otherwise, not too much there, so it's not a super dramatic stat spread. He's got two more dramatic ones. And of course, he was formerly the 3M member of the Timberwood pack, the offspring of Puma and Koji, as all of them will be, because Koji was with us until the very end. He actually passed away shortly before Puma did, right at the end of the final litter. But that is Lynx. He is our first option from the first litter. Next up, we have Ocelot. Now, Ocelot is also from the first litter here. You can see that he actually has the 755M coat from the Hall of Fame. Quite in contrast to Lynx, he's got a very light coat with some dark highlight, or some dark, you wouldn't call it highlights. I guess dark details. I don't know, words are hard. Pretty much kind of polar opposite to Lynx having a very dark coat with some lighter details on it, but very, very pretty in any case. He has these very light lemony almost slightly green eyes as well. Very, very pretty, very vibrant and striking here. Again, we're not going to see any of these customizations, but we will go ahead and we'll listen to his howls. Oh, this is the classic one, I think. Yes, that's that classic nostalgia howl. And then for his secondary, Another kind of a mid-toned one there. Not super amount of variation, but both very, very nice howls. Again, no customizations here, but if you have an idea for what he could have acquired between the time he was a pup and the time he was an adult, and you're a member of the supporter Discord through a Patreon, Twitch sub, or a YouTube channel memberships, you can send in those ideas there, and we might have a chance to use them for his final design if he does become the heir here. As for his stats, he also has the same stats, that +2 strength, -2 health, so exact same as Lynx. And of course, he was the 5M member of the Timberwood pack, the offspring of Puma and Koji. Those two are from the first litter. Starting off the second litter, we have Birch. And Birch here you can see has the 302M Casanova coat, which is also a Hall of Fame coat. These are all going to be genetic black, by the way. Puma had a double black coat. She was a bit of a genetic anomaly that shouldn't have actually happened, but you know what? We're rolling with it because the family tree is just weird like that. That's just the way that it was. She managed to get that double black coat, so all the pups are going to have a black coat. But Birch here has these really, really pretty greenish eyes as well. They really stand out. It kind of is reminiscent of his mother as well. She had more gray eyes. His are a little bit more saturated than hers were, but still a very unique color to see pop up. Also go ahead, we'll listen to his howls here. Ooh, that's a bit of a deeper one, and then for his secondary. A very high-pitched one. Okay, so he has quite a bit of range, actually. Now, no customizations here, but if you have an idea for what happened at the time between he was a pup and the time that he was an adult, and you are a supporter in the supporter Discord, via Patreon, YouTube channel memberships, or Twitch subs, you can suggest those ideas. We have a place where you can put those there. Now, as for his stats, he has that +1 strength, +1 stamina, and -2 health. So, -2 health is shared with the other wolves we've seen thus far, but the plus strength and stamina, he has a little bit more spread out and less dramatically put into one stat. It's over 2 rather than a +2 to 1. And of course, he was formerly the 6M member of the Timberwood pack, the offspring of Puma and Koji. That is Birch, and rounding off the second litter and our first poll, next up we have Splash. And Splash has the half-black coat here from Cool Coat, so that's the newer DLC. A very, very pretty one for sure. And he also has kind of those greeny-looking eyes. They really, I say this like every time. I genuinely don't think I've seen a bad combination in WolfQuest yet. And that's impressive when you have something that generates randomized designs for the puppies. All of the coats and the eye colors and the different tints all seem to work really well together. And it's always exciting to see what they end up generating. Splash here is definitely a very handsome wolf. But let's go ahead. We'll listen to his howl here. Bit of a deeper one. I think we've seen 7 pop up before. And for his secondary, those might actually be identical. Okay, no, I don't think they're identical, but they are very close. He's got a lot of consistency there, it seems. His primary and secondary are quite similar. Now, again, no customizations here, but if you are a supporter and you have an idea for what happened to him in the time between when he was a pup and when he became an adult, you can submit those ideas through the Discord, and you can get access to that Discord through Patreon, YouTube channel memberships, or Twitch subscription. It does help support the channel and gives you a lot of cool benefits as well. As for his stats, he has some more neutral ones, so he's got a +1 to speed and a -1 to stamina, but neutral strength and health, so he kind of breaks a little bit from what we've seen of the other pups. And of course, he was the 7M member of the Timberwood pack, the offspring of Puma and Koji. So that is Splash. That he's going to finish off our first poll there. We're going to be moving on to the second poll, and as a reminder, the winner of the first poll will then run against the winner of the second poll to determine the overall heir to the Timberwood pack. So make sure to check both of those polls in the video description, because now we're going to be moving on to the start of poll 2 with our wolf from litter 3, Quill. And Quill has another ambassador coat there, the Mackenzie coat, another very, very pretty one with these really striking kind of bronzy golden eyes. Again, very, very vibrant standout. They kind of look like embers amid coals, and I really love that look. Oh, it's a very classic one. We'll go ahead, we'll listen to his howls here. Oh, he also got the classic nostalgia howl. Oh, it's such a good howl. Brings me all the way back to the early days of Wolf Quest. We'll also go ahead and we'll listen to his secondary too. Oh, that one's a lot higher pitched, so he's got quite a bit of range. Now, he doesn't seem to have any customizations here either, but as always, if you are a member of the Patreon, a subscriber on Twitch, or a channel member on the JayPlays channel through YouTube, then you can send in ideas if you have an idea for a customization you may have gained between the time that he was a pup and the time he became an adult, provided you're a member of the supporter Discord. Now, as for his stats here, you can see he has that +1 stamina, +1 speed, and -2 health with a neutral strength. That -2 health pops up a lot. I think that's one that Puma actually had, but the other stats here are a little bit more spread out. Stamina and speed this time with no strength modifiers. And of course, Quill was formerly the 12th member of the Timberwood pack and the offspring of Puma and Koji. So that's Quill. Next up we have our litter 4 litter heir, Cherokee, and oh my goodness, she's a lot smaller. I think she might actually be the only female wolf in this poll as well. She's a much smaller wolf here, and she also has, I think that's a Casanova coat. Yes, indeed, 302M with those really striking green eyes. I said they're rare, but they seem to be showing up quite commonly with this pack, actually. I guess it runs in the family here. We'll also go ahead and listen to her howls. Slightly higher pitched one. Also, the white on the coat is so pretty. It really stands out quite a lot. But as for her secondary, bit of a higher howl overall. Now, I don't think she has any customizations here, but as always, if you have an idea for what happened to her between the time she was a pup and the time she became an adult, you can submit that through the supporter Discord if you're a member of the Patreon, a subscriber on Twitch, or a channel member on YouTube. As for her stats here, she has +1 speed and only -1 to health, but otherwise neutral stats, so I think she has the least drastic stat spread we've seen so far. And of course, she was the 9F member of the Timberwood pack from the 4th litter. So that is Cherokee. Next up we have our 5th litter finalist, Kasa. And Kasa actually has the same NPC coat that Puma herself had. You can see that it has that brown smudge on the nose. I can't remember which one it modifies actually, but you're going to see it doesn't show up here. I wish they would tell you which one directly it was. It'd be interesting to see. But he's got these more kind of lemony yellow eyes again. Slightly green tinted, but mostly yellow. Still very, very pretty and very striking. We'll go ahead and we'll listen to his howls as well. Bit of a deeper one there, and then for his secondary, much higher pitched one, so he has quite a lot of range. Of course, no visible customizations here, but if you have an idea for what happened to him between the time that he was a pup and the time that he became an adult, and you're a member of the Patreon, a subscriber on Twitch, or a member on YouTube, then you can submit those ideas through the JayPlays supporter Discord. As for his stats, he has that +1 strength, +1 stamina, and -2 health again, as is classic, but neutral speed. So once again, the -2 health makes its return. And of course, he is the 19M member of the Timberwood Pack. He was known for being a little bit of a wanderer and a bit of a troublemaker. He is the offspring of Puma and Koji, as well as all of them are. And that is Kasa. Finally, finishing off our final poll here, last but not least, we have Ezra. And Ezra is a bit of an infamous one with that incredibly striking Cinderella coat here from the Founders Pack of the Yellowstone DLC. Goodness gracious. That coat was subject to quite a lot of uncertainty because this is actually the false gray. He looked like he might have a gray coat growing up. This is before we knew that Puma did indeed have a double black coat, and it wasn't. Turned out to be a white coat instead, which is still genetically black. So, of course, he has that. He's also got these brighter golden eyes. Very, very striking again. Genuinely, I know I compliment all of these, but I'm just like, goodness, I don't think there's been a bad combination yet. But they do suit him quite well, these piercing yellow eyes here. Let's go ahead. We'll also listen to his howls. A little bit of a mid-ranged one, and then for his secondary, bit of a higher one, so he's got kind of a higher mid-toned range. Now, of course, if you have any ideas for what happened to him between the time that he was a pup and the time he became an adult, you can submit those through the JayPlays supporter Discord if you're a member of the Patreon, subscriber on Twitch, or a member on YouTube, but it doesn't look like he got the radio collar. Again, all these wolves predate the customizations being able to roll randomly, so none of them are going to have that. But as for his stats, he's got +1 strength, +1 speed, and -2 health, but neutral stamina. So once again, the -2 health, that's pretty common for these pups, but otherwise the stats are a little bit more neutral. Of course, he was the 23M member of the Timberwood Pack. He's actually the last pup to be born, and he was definitely known to be a troublemaker. He was also quite close to his sister, who unfortunately passed away during the litter, but that didn't stop him from finding chaos of all varieties. He was definitely a bit of an active wolf who liked to find mischief. But that's going to go ahead and finish off these two polls here, so don't forget there's 2 of them. You have a week or 2 to vote in those, and then we'll be going ahead and choosing the winner between the 2 finalists. They'll run in one final poll against each other, and you guys will be able to vote for which wolf you want to officially carry on the legacy. And if you've been following us on Twitch, you'll know we've talked about some possible changes to that. Of course, we know that the Lost River map is in development, and whichever wolf wins this Legacy's polls and becomes the heir will actually be moving to Lost River, and rather than playing through one set of wolves all the way straight through to the end, we're going to actually start switching off back and forth between the legacies, with one being in Lost River and continuing on there, and one staying in Amethyst Mountain, Slough Creek, and we'll see what happens with that when the saga rolls around. We'll see what happens with both legacies when the saga rolls around. Just keep in mind that whichever wolf is the one you choose here will probably be headed to Lost River when that map releases, which we don't know when that's going to be, but they've been posting updates on it occasionally, so when that happens, we'll be starting the legacy with the heir there as well. With that said, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up here for today, because it is getting to be about that time again. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. But until then, this is Jay. Over and out.